Hello out there. So how are you doing, folks, today? Well, today's video, I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine. His name is Gord. Gord is a gourd. See, if you've seen one of my other videos, I talked about the fact that my mom gave me this gourd a couple of years ago, quite a few years ago, and she said, "Oh, it's an odd shape, it's weird, you'll like it, make something from it." And I put it downstairs, and it even got a crack in it, and then it went dry, so now it becomes a musical instrument. But the thing is, I decided that I'm going to do something with it, and I'm going to make something with gourd. What I'm going to make with gourd, my mind has already figured it out. I think I know what it's going to be. Right, Gord?
Yes, well, if you know exactly what you're going to make out of me.
So, sit back, watch the video, and you will see what I make from gourd. Gourd. Oh, by the way, guys, if you don't mind, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Also, hit the bell for notification. Ding dong, all day long. But please, sit down and watch what happens to gourd. What's going to happen to gourd?
I don't know what is going to happen to gourd, but it might become something.
Hey, so what are we going to do with gourd? I looked at gourd for a little while. It took me a few minutes, and I said to myself, so I think that gourd should be, you see it, don't you? No, you don't. Okay, an elephant. Yes, look at that beautiful trunk. That is going to be an amazing elephant. So what do I need to make an amazing elephant? I need some clay. What kind of clay am I going to use? I am going to use polymer clay, also known as Sculpt clay, right? So I got myself a couple of packages of clay, and I'm going to start making gourd, the elephant, yes, out of a gourd. And I also grabbed some glass for glass eyes. Figured this would work really, really well. So what I'm going to do is I will paint my glass eyes to give my eye effect, right? You see that? All right. I always wonder why you say stuff like that, you know. Oh, do you see that? And you guys are like, yeah, we do, Paul. Thanks very much. We see that. I never get an answer. No. And sculpting tools, right? Paint. Will we be painting it pink? I don't think so, but who knows? Also, what I'm going to have is a paintbrush, right? Which also works very well as a drumstick. So we have those things. Oh yes, and also I'm going to be using some fish wire to actually make eyelashes and the tail. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. Let's watch him make an elephant. All right, guys. So one of the first things about our little elephant is that he's gonna need some eyes. So what I did was, as I said, I picked up some glass round discs at a floral shop, actually, is where I got this from. But I'm pretty sure you can buy it in any craft store. And I painted my eyes. So I painted the background. So I made that really simple, so we're going to show you how that's done. And like I said, it's nice. It makes a nice big eye, right? Gives it a lot of coolness when you look at it, right? See that? Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at that beautiful little eye, right? I'll just show you how to make that, okay? And then basically what I do is I just basically paint around. Now remember, when you're doing the eye, you're doing it backwards. The other thing too is that if you're going to be painting on glass, you may have to do a couple of coats to get it to work the way you want. Basically because it will streak. Now, once you've done that, okay, that's your outer part, you're going to do the quick little round eye part in the middle. There you are. Okay, it's nice and simple. Now, to give that little extra highlight, you just drop in a little dab of white, and there you are. And there you are. Doesn't have to be anything special. Well, There you are. Now, all this is drying time. We wait for that to happen. And then we'll put on the little back part, right? Nice and simple. So, all right, guys. What we got here is I'm going to paint the background. Paint the background, nice and easy. Literally just slap it over top. Right? And voila. Now, the thing is, I used basically a red oxide for the brown, added a touch of white to it, and it gave me that look. And then basically, this is what we should have, if I put it in the proper place. But there's your eyeball, right? And if you need to play around with it and fix it up to make sure it's exactly the way you want, no problem. But that will make a beautiful eye. There you are. So all right, guys, what we have here is our putty. So basically, what we're going to do is attach the eyes. So we have an idea how it's going to look, and also basically get the sculpture started so that, you know, I always find working from the eyes is the best way for me anyways. Some people would like to build a whole thing out and then decide to do it that way. Because I'm not making an armature, my armature is the gourd itself, I'm going to have to kind of work around with the gourd and that. So I have my eye, right? Boom. And then basically what I'm going to do is say to myself, okay, this looks pretty good. And then I will take my fingers and go around and pop it in like this. And there we are. Nice and simple, not too hard, right? So now you can work from that. Basically what you're going to do is make it so that your eyeball can go in easily and come out easily. Because remember, there's going to be baking too. And if you're going to bake it, I don't know if I'd want to bake it with the glass on or in it. That might not be the best idea. So I'm going to add in a little bit of texture. Then I'm going to add in what I think is going to make it look right. So first things first, I'm going to look at it and say to myself, okay, that's good. The ears will come out this way. Legs are going to be down here. Tail in the back. And I'm actually going to make the character like kind of short and stunted in a sense with that big, huge, long nose. It's going to look great. I think it's going to be fantastic. All right, so let's go from there. Now, as you can see, I put eyelashes in there because elephants have these beautiful big eyelashes, and I thought they would look kind of cute. Now, the thing is that I didn't make the eyelashes. Sue made the eyelashes, and also she came up with a great idea about the eyes. What we'll do is, when we go to bake it, I'm not going to worry. I'm going to put tin foil over top of that and tin foil around the eyelashes, just enough to cover it so that it won't cause any damage. And I think that's going to be the best idea. So right now, it's basically just applying and that, making sure that it looks nice and smooth and it's on there, right? See how I'm just spreading that out, right? Because I'll put my details in later. I'm not going to do that yet because basically what I want to do is I'll apply it and get it all together and then start working on the detail. Because if you start working on the detail too early, what's going to happen is you're going to touch it and you're going to go, oh, well, I got to do that again, and oh, well, I got to do that again, and oh, well, I've got to do that again. And that's yet kind of annoying, just like me saying it, right? So, there we are. So also what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Sue explain to you how she actually made the eyelashes for me. She actually made the eyelashes and the tail. So I'll actually get her to explain how she made those with some fishing wire. So Sue will tell you that right now.
Hey guys, here's the supply list for the eyelashes. I cut 11 pieces of the fishing line in 2 inches of length. Then I bend them in half, give a little twist at the bottom to help anchor it into the clay. If I did individual lashes, they would pull out too easy. Then I take the masking tape, roll it with the sticky side out, and stick the 11 lashes in a row side by side, as you'll see here. Then I take an extra piece of tape and fold it around to secure the lashes when they're finished. Then that lid that we had, I just use that to curve and shape and then curl the lashes how I want them to look. And here's a sneak peek of the elephant and what it looks like with the lashes. Once it's been baked and handled and mangled, then I'll curve the lashes and neaten them up. Now here's a supply list for my tail. I cut a 35-inch length of the fishing line. Then I loop the elastic around the end of the Q-tip so I could put the wire through, and then I loop it around over and over until there's about 2 inches left. Then I wrap that length around the end of the wire and elastic to secure it. Then I cut the loop so it looks like the hair on the end of a tail. And here's a sneak peek on the elephant. It still needs to be gray. And here we go. Back to Paul.
So another thing that you'll need actually is tinfoil. Tinfoil can be used to make an armature, and especially on something like this where you're going to be actually applying it to something that's already an armature, and that otherwise you'd be using wire and armature. I don't know if I need to use wire, but if I do, I'll let you know about that. So I got my tinfoil and I started to make my tusk. So here's my tusk. I'm going to apply that, and basically what I'm going to do is get it in position. Figure out where I want it to be. Tinfoil will then get covered with clay also and smoothed out, but basically what I did was, it's kind of like where the flesh comes together on the elephant, and then it'll be tusk. And then see, when it bakes, especially since the skin will be on the whole gourd, it will be all together, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So the next thing I'm going to hit is the ear. What I'm doing now is I'm going to dig a little hole here, and basically I just grabbed my little tool that I use for carving, and it wasn't that hard to poke through, and that just twisted a little bit. I think I'll need that because it'll need something for the ear to mount to, right? And that way, because it's going to be a little bit floppy, because this is the ear, and you'll see, like if I was going to attach that with clay and then just leave it, it probably would keep falling off and breaking. I just got to figure out if it's going to be in the right spot. So I grabbed some wire, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke that right into the hole and then run it out so that it can actually attach the ear. The wire that I used, I actually think is a little thin, so I'm going to have to double it up. Probably thicker wire would be a lot easier, and that would have been great, but I don't have thicker wire right now, so I'm going to have to adapt. But I would definitely use a little bit thicker gauge of wire, something a little sturdier so that you can attach your ear. Should be pretty easy. So as you can see, I made my ear. So basically I flattened out some tinfoil and then applied clay to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it and pop it right in that. Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. Pop it right in the hole. And there you are. I've got that on there. So then I will apply the clay and let it, and then smooth it on, right? See, not too hard, right? Like I said, a thicker wire probably would have made this a lot easier. But I think it just needed something to attach to. You couldn't just slap clay on it. Making it a little bit difficult, but it's not that bad. Okay, so there we are. We've got the ear on. And then what I'll do is I'll apply clay underneath, right? And then bring that all the way up to here so the ear is completely covered, and then the wire will be in where the clay is. And that, so it'll make it nice and easy to stay on, and it'll have something to grip to. And as I say, when it gets cooked, it will go hard, and that should apply it all together in one shot. So, now I got my ear applied to it, I got the eyes applied, and the tusk applied. I did move the eye because it definitely was not in the right place. Because what I do is I generally make a lot of this stuff first, and then I rip it all apart to show you guys how I did it, and put it back, and I just didn't pay attention at all as to where the eyeball was. So now it's starting to look pretty darn decent, right? The tusk in the right spot, eye looks like it's in a good spot, ears there in the good spot. The next thing I'm going to hit is probably, like I've already made the tail, but the tail's not going to go on until later, but this is what I did for a tail. I love this little hair-like piece on the back, and that's what I said. Sue actually made that part, so she's actually going to talk about that, or she's already talked about it. I'm not sure the way editing goes. But, as I said, that'll go onto the back right here.